Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the premiere episode of Dark Justice Radio. I'm your host. Well, that really doesn't matter at the moment. In a world where attention spans have been compromised under the advent of 10 seconds clips and quick swipes, I'll save elaborate introductions for another time and dive right into this evening's topic. And that topic is about an extremely hazardous disease that plagues society. This disease is commonly known as bullies. Bullies, inhuman creatures whose existence dates back to the beginning of time. A bully is an obnoxious parasite that enhances its life force at the expense of preying upon anyone it deems inferior. A creature whose superiority complex is as big as its victim complex, always on the prowl to victimize, but the first on deck to cry victim when the predator becomes prey. Bullies are demon spawn who insist that might equals right, insist that there is no such thing as objective morality, and that life is merely a competition. There is no right or wrong, says the bully, just winning or losing. Yet the bully also wants to be treated like an innocent victim once it's forced to face its own mortality. The bully takes pride in being the villain, again sees right and wrong as merely subjective, nothing more than a competition, a game, a joke even. It struts around and peacocks and declares anyone who can't bear to suffer its obnoxious antics as simply jealous, too sensitive, or weak. But once the bully is trapped in the grasp of pain and suffering, it desperately craves the very victim treatment it so vehemently deplores. Bullies love to dominate others. Their self-esteem and happiness can only exist at the expense of your misery. They love to be the villain, but when their world gets turned upside down, they also love to play victim. But remember this, in its attempt to gaslight you, as it begs and pleads for empathy and mercy that it refused to give anyone else, just remember that bullies cannot be victims. In fact, the bully believes the word victim to be synonymous with the words sensitive, incapable, and weak. All characteristics the bully does not see in itself and could never see in itself under any circumstances. Meaning, by the bully's own definition of the word victim, bullies cannot be victims. Whatever level of pain you try to deliberately inflict onto someone, any method of retaliation is fair game, at least by the bully's law of so-called subjective morality. No. Bullies are predators, and there is no such thing as victimizing a predator. When you choose to incessantly harass anyone perceived as weak or less than, as bullies often do, you don't have the luxury of dictating what the surprise reaction will be. Any reaction is the reaction you asked for. It's similar to buying a Happy Meal from McDonald's. When you buy that oh-so-delicious Happy Meal, you don't know what toy you might get. Similar to bullying and tormenting others, you don't know what response you may get. It's all a surprise. You might get punched in the face. You might get the cops called on you. You might get cursed out, and yes, you might even get shot. I must repeat, you never know what toy you might get when you buy a Happy Meal. Whatever toy you might get is a surprise. And if you don't like surprises, don't buy the fucking Happy Meal. Certain surprises come with the territory of certain actions. Now, am I advocating for violence? Of course not. I'd never do such a thing under the watchful eye of YouTube guidelines, but what I am advocating for is leaving people the fuck alone. And if you choose not to leave people alone, then you should be prepared for whatever reaction that comes your way. If you don't want to see fire, stop lighting matches, or be willing to burn to death in the very house you set ablaze.